Day
Hello
20,
and welcome
Car
to day
Audio School.
21 of Car Audio School. The school is teach you how to do it yourself, become a technician, become a shop manager, or once you learn all of this stuff, even become a shop owner that has some knowledge about what they're actually doing. Today, we are going to talk about speaker sizes and materials that they're made out of. Yesterday and the day before, we talked about coaxial and component cables, or cables. There are component cables, but we talked about coaxial and component speakers and why we would choose certain speakers for different scenarios and potentially the crossovers that would go with them to get the maximum or efficient sound out of specific drivers. So today we're going to talk about speaker size. So I'm going to start over here working off of two screens. And okay, so think of it like picking the right tools and ingredients for the best sound. And then we're talking about speaker sizes. So the bigger the speaker, the physically bigger the speaker, the more bass usually. Generally, the wider the speaker cone, the better it is at producing low frequencies bass. Think of like a big subwoofer for deep bass. And then common car sizes. So most of the time you'll see common car sizes like a 4-inch speaker, and I'll finish this thought. Like a 4-inch speaker, like a 5 1/4, a 6-inch speaker, a 6x5, and a 6x9. These numbers roughly refer to the diameter of the main speaker cone. And then matching your car. So the size you need usually depends on the factory speaker opening in your car doors or other locations, wherever you want to put them at. Speaker material, simplified. So cone material, the part that moves up and down that makes a sound. Out of the factory, paper or paper blends, common, lightweight, and sound good for the price. Think of it like a basic but reliable ingredient like pepper or salt. But out of the factory, yeah, these have very small magnets. This is actually off of I can't remember what vehicle, but BMW. But I saved the magnet. So we'll talk about all that kind of stuff. Polypropylene / plastic, durable and resistant to moisture, good for car doors, solid and practical choice. So these are your better cones. This is what you would go into, let's say, a speaker shop or buy off Coaxial or Amazon. And this is a good replacement speaker. It's better than the lightweight magnet and paper material that come from the factory. It's a step up, but it's not the best. But I would say it's entry level speakers that you're talking about. Kevlar or carbon fiber, strong and lightweight, often found in higher end speakers for better performance and detail, like premium or high performance materials. So these would be, I would say, like your Morale or for a while I thought Diamond had a pretty good speaker. Sony had a pretty good speaker. Even now, Audio Control is coming into the game for a pretty good speaker. Not premium, but I would say middle grade. There are some very, very expensive speakers out there with very good material, and those are, I'll just say, extremely expensive. I'll try to make a list for anybody who wants to know of what I think is entry level, mid grade, and premium type stuff. And then surrounding material, the flexible ring around the cone, rubber. So the rubber part that's usually on. I wish I had one here. That's usually on the speaker, the rubber surrounding. Durable and provides good flexibility, a long-lasting and reliable choice. And then there's the foam around it, lighter and can offer good sensitivity, but might not be as durable as the rubber. So you play it loud, you turn it up, you stretch it past its rating, you will tear it. Rockford comes to mind. Those are a really good one. Tweeter material, the light, high-frequency speaker and coaxials or separate components. That's just talking about the tweeter, and usually they'll have like a soft silk dome over it that produces smooth and natural high frequencies, but very delicate to the touch. So if you press on it, there is a very high chance that you'll literally leave a dent in it, and you can finagle it. You can press around and try to flex it out, but chances are that yeah. And then there's the metal cones or tops that go over the top of it. Those are usually aluminum or titanium. These can produce crisp and detailed highs, like a sharp and clear sound. So the takeaways from this, the size matters for bass. Bigger usually means more low end. Debatable, because you can build a box and get around that. Materials often affect quality and durability. Different materials have different strengths and reproducing of various frequencies. And then there is no single best material. It just depends on the speaker purpose and the desired sound that you want to get out of it. So at 7 minutes, we'll kind of touch on some other things. Reason we did all that. So elaborating on speaker size, the size of the speaker driver, the size of the speaker driver's diaphragm, the cone of the woofer and mid-ranges, the dome for the tweeters directly impacts its ability to reproduce different frequencies and disperse sound. So no matter what you pick, you're going to have to pick something that is best for your vehicle. All vehicles are different, and all people's listening preferences and ears are different. And then on top of that, you still have to tune everything. And then even if you put sound dampening in the vehicle, you're going to get a different sound from that. So you just have to look at what the specifications are on the box, and then the specifications for tuning everything, and just your personal preference. How do you want it to sound? Large drivers, woofers, and mid-range, generally larger diameter cones, typically 6.5 inch or greater for woofers and mid-bass. So that's what you would put like indoors, or pretty much if you like a lot of mid-bass, that's what you're going to stick around that area, 6.5. Are better at moving larger volumes of air, which is essential for producing low frequency sounds, bass, that you can actually feel. A lower free air resonant FS, if you ever look at the specs, and a woofer often indicate better suited for low frequencies reproduction. However, large cones can be heavier which can limit their ability to reproduce high frequencies accurately. And then in terms of dispersion, the angle into which the speaker radiates sound. So that's talking about the actual direction that the speaker is facing. Speakers in the door, the lower door, are not going to reach the ear the same as a tweeter on the top of the door or on the A-pillars or in the dash is going to hit. On top of that, those are usually smaller, so once we get below 6x5, we're looking at the higher frequencies, and they're not going to produce the mid bass that you want. There are some good ones. We'll talk about that later because I actually have some. They were diamond speakers, but we'll talk about that later. Have large tones. Okay. In terms of dispersion, we did that. Large speakers tend to have a wider dispersion at the lower frequencies, acting somewhat like a floodlight. So we're talking directional. It's like when they say floodlight, it's the same thing as a speaker. If the speaker is more wider, like a 6x9, it has a larger flood or area that sound can reach, as opposed to like a 3-inch speaker that is very focused, like a flashlight. And then we'll go to smaller drivers, mid-range and tweeters. Small and large diaphragm, typically 1 to 4 inches for mid-range, and around 1 inch for smaller tweeters, can vibrate much faster, allowing them to reproduce higher frequencies with greater clarity and detail. Tweeters are specifically designed for high frequencies, and mid-range drivers bridge the gap between the woofers and the tweeters. So we're talking about a full range sound now. If you have 3 parts, or you're familiar with alto and tenor and baritone, these 3 mix together to make a full sound. It's almost like a chord, putting a chord together on a piano, or a trio. These 3 notes make a full sound. However, you can separate them and put them in different places and tune them to get your full sound. Where we got tweeters and specifically designed. Tweeters are specifically designed for high frequency and mid-range drivers. Bridge the gap between the woofers and tweeters and handling. Okay, smaller speakers, especially at higher frequencies, can become more directional, and we'll liken that to making the light bulb brighter, but directional, like a spotlight, meaning their sound is focused in a narrow beam, similar to spotlights. This is why tweeters in component systems are often aimed towards the listener. So again, in the A-pillar, in the door by the mirror, and sometimes in the dash, but bouncing off of the windshield toward the listener's ears. And then we're at 14 minutes. I'll do this last one. Frequency response. The most crucial aspect of any speaker is its frequency response, which dictates the range of musical tones it can reproduce. Designers spend a significant effort on this, aiming at a wider and flatter response for more accurate sound reproduction. The size of the drivers chosen is a key factor in achieving the desired frequency response. So in a different vehicle, in a different video, I will elaborate on the speaker materials a little bit more, because we still have cone and dome, voice coil, suspension, basically the surround and the spider, and then the magnet and the motor structure, which is what I was about to go into with this, but I'll get you actual speakers so you can have a visual representation of what I'm talking about. So Nimbus Electronics and Sound on YouTube. I am Sleepy Digital on YouTube. Donations will be on the bottom. Email, if you want to email me, I am Sleepy Digital. Leave comments. I will answer them, and it's only going to get deeper and funner from here. That's what she said.